Hey guys, um, this is the monsters and cryptids tier list. I added monsters because I wanted a longer video mostly, but also, um, cryptids are kind of just samey, it feels like, so we're gonna cover a bit more, stuff. Um, I'm trying to determine how realistic each of these things are at face value. Aliens. I personally think aliens just mathematically have to exist. The universe is too big for them not to. There's just, I mean, even in, hold on, I gotta find the exact number out. But even in our own like galaxy, there's like how many habitable planets potentially? There are 300 million potential habitable planets in our galaxy. So, in our galaxy alone, that's not in the universe in our galaxy. So, mathematically, I think they have to exist. Like I said, cryptids are kind of just boring or samey. This is just a category. Giant animals. So, like, I think there's cases of like giant sharks, giant snakes, giant bugs. So as an umbrella, I think that it's reasonable. Obviously, if an animal is eaten good, it could be bigger on average. Especially in the case of like sharks and snakes. But like bugs or something like that, or creatures that are pretty small, that people say get like ludicrously huge, that makes them a little, you know, more reasonable. Oh, I forgot to explain the tiers. Basically existed slash exists is something that I think, basically exists. Reasonable is kind of likely, um, more on the favorable side. Unlikely is a little bit likely, less on the favorable side. And impossible is just no, this is magic or a hybrid or just not, biologically plausible. Bigfoot. Of the Squatch clones, or as I want to call them, like Sasquatch, Bat Squatch, Sheep Squatch, the skunk ape, I think that it is more reasonable than the other ones, just because it's, a great ape. Great apes can, I mean, we're great apes, we can walk on 2 feet, so, I want to put it in unlikely. Obviously, a great ape, well, I mean, we did it, right? A great ape moving from, it looks like a gorilla or something like that, right? And a gorilla isn't just gonna move out of the tropics to go into North America. That's my point. That's my point. Okay, there we go. Unlikely. I think it's unlikely. Sorry for all the fucking Squatch heads in the audience. Bloop. Background on the Bloop. It's on some sort of underwater phonograph, or I think it's a sonograph. I can't remember. The loudest sound underwater was ever recorded. It's since been disproved that it was like a glacier or something, but people are like, how does this sound so loud? It had to have come from something so big, something super huge. So, the bloop was theorized to be a big underwater creature. Now, obviously, we have had cases of big underwater creatures turning out to be true in the case of the Kraken, which I'll talk about later. But the bloop is too huge. I'm going to show you some pictures, probably on screen right now, of some estimations about how big the bloop is, and I just don't think it's realistic. Also, I hate that it's in so many clickbait thumbnails, so it's gonna go in unlikely, because obviously we have been proven wrong about, like, like giant sea monsters, but it's just too huge, I think. The Chimera, this is a dragon, a lion, and a goat, I think, on a dragon body. So obviously that's going to go in hybrid, just because it's a bunch of different disparate animals fused together. How is this thing going to eat with 3 different heads? And they all probably favor different kinds of foods. Like this goat right here doesn't want to eat what this lion and dragon are eating, It just causes too much strife, I feel. They're probably going to fight each other. So, yeah. Cockatrice. Here's the thing. The body... Okay, so Cockatrice is like a wyvern with like a chicken head. The body plan for a wyvern has kind of, somewhat, sort of appeared in the past. It's this dinosaur called Yi-Ki, which is obviously, since dinosaurs are related to birds, looked very bird-like, but it had membranous wings like a bat. A picture on screen will kind of show you the comparisons. So I kind of want to put it in reasonable. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure cockatrices are giant and they breathe fire, but the body plan is there, so I like reasonable. Although we'll do a final thing later. We'll do a final mix-up later. Okay, so obviously there's a dragon here and there's a dragon here, but this is different. This is a six-winged dragon, and because it's a six-winged dragon, and because supposedly dragons are reptiles, you know, have 4 legs. Having 6 limbs is kind of bad. So I'm thinking impossible. Although, this is another case where it could switch, because we know that, you know, like, sharks' teeth are evolved from scales, so who knows what kind of structure on a body could maybe take on a wing shape sometime down the line, or if the pressures were there. As of right now, though, because, I mean, I'm pretty sure there are lizards in the wild that have, like, ribs that fold out and then allow them to glide. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm getting at here, is that there could be some sort of structure that allows 4 limbs but also wings. So right now, well, now that I think about that, probably unlikely. But we'll do impossible. We'll do impossible right now, because obviously dragons also sometimes breathe fire. And since I did Yi-Ki can breathe fire, and that moved it down from basically exist to reasonable, it goes from unlikely to impossible. There we go. That's my final answer. Mongolian deathworm. This is like a folk creature in Mongolia. It's like a 7-foot long worm that spits acid. I don't know how I feel about it, just because in deserts usually creatures don't strive to get bigger, you know. Obviously camels are a thing. That's kind of an outlier. So something that's small is not going to get bigger because it's in a desert, is what I'm thinking. So I'm feeling unlikely, because at least it's like, you know, kind of a regular animal. Obviously the spitting acid is weird, but, you know, bugs do weird stuff with chemicals all the time. Chupacabra. And this is the Chupacabra that's kind of just like a mangy dog that I think drinks blood. Now, hemiphagy's weird, right? But hemiphagy also is the eating, or the I think the majority of your diet is composed of blood. That kind of makes it a little unrealistic, but, you know, depending on, because, I mean, it also kind of just, you know, kills goats. I'm pretty sure it eats them too. So it could just be, you know, a weird little dog with mange. So I think it's basically exists. Just because, I mean, even like nowadays, I'm pretty sure that the largest or the most prominent explanation for chupacabras is just seeing dogs with mange. So I don't know. I think that it could just be some weird incarnation of a dog, you know. I'm going to come back to flying rods. These are weird, and it's going to take some time to explain. Ghosts. Sorry, guys. Ghosts are magic. I'm sorry. Jackalope. This is a cryptid. A silly one with, it's just a jackrabbit with horns. I'm going to look something up right now. Isn't there like a rodent with horns? Yeah. There was a horned gopher. From the Miocene to the Pliocene, there was a creature called a horned gopher. So we have evidence of a rodent, even though rabbits aren't rodents, of something like a rodent having horns. So actually, that's a bad comparison. Rabbits aren't rodents, but They look the same, okay? They look similar, so obviously it needs a reason to have horns. What did the gopher have horns for? Don't rabbits dig burrows? What were these damn horns for? Digging. Okay, the horns were for digging, so obviously it's not going to be like stag antlers. But if there was some sort of horned rabbit, that's pretty reasonable to me, I think. Jersey Devil. This is a goat with demon features, so like bat wings and stuff. And also I saw some like weird, scary trail cam pictures of them like looking like half man. So I'm gonna go with impossible. Kraken. Like I said, I come back to this one. We basically know that the sources of Kraken myths were sightings of giant squid. So these basically exist. Giant squid and colossal squid, I'm pretty sure. So these basically exist. Which is probably more concrete than like, well, probably similarly concrete as aliens, but maybe, oh yeah, I should probably organize these in also in terms of realism. So these are tied for realism. This is the last place. Giant animals, that, yep, that. Bloop. Yeah, like that. And then I don't know how I want to rank like a hybrid creature with a ghost. Probably outwardly magic is less so than chimera creatures. Okay. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, Kraken. This is the manticore. It's like a lion thing with bat wings and a scorpion tail. That's hybrid. And that's at least it's got one head. Although, and it's also mixed with less animals, so it's gonna be above the chimera. Mermaids. This is just a person with a fish tail. That's another hybrid. But also, it's a person, you know, with the whole like air breathing, of all the air breathing features, and just the tail of a fish. That's gonna go, I think, there. Mothman. Now this isn't necessarily like I think let's call it a Squatch like. This isn't necessarily a Squatch like, but I think that it has the similar standing in I think American cryptid culture as Bigfoot nowadays. He's cool, but he's a big uh, flying like bug man. There's no 6 limbs. There's 4 limbs. That's a little unrealistic. Luminous eyes. I don't know if bugs have luminous eyes. I can't remember. Well, they have bioluminescence, like lightning bugs and whatnot. But it's still huge. And like I said, bugs got issues. So although he also is like depicted as like some sort of weird owl creature. Either way, he's too big to fly. So he's going. Okay. We'll come back to it later. He's less realistic than Sasquatch. Yep. That's the ticket right there. Okay, now I feel like I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot with the basically existed and reasonable category because I feel like where any sort of post-Cretaceous extinction, like sort of prehistoric animal sighting or whatever, shows up, they did obviously basically exist. We have evidence for that, but if they show up in like Europe or something like that, like in Nessie's case, in a cold lake, that just kind of makes me that puts a sour taste in my mouth. But yes, plesiosaurs did exist, so it's going in there. And just because of circumstance of where it lives, it is going all the way down here. And then just this basic dinosaur is any sort of post-Cretaceous prehistoric creature. I think some cases are Mongolian, which is like this African cryptid where it's a supposed sauropod living in jungles, which is way more realistic than Nessie, I feel, just based on its environment. Or something like the Ropin, which is like a pterosaur that's proposed to eat dead bodies. Like I said, I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot by including this category. However, dinosaurs did always exist, so reptile people. Hot take, but I think reptile people are real. Just based on, like look at any like tech mogul and tell me that reptiles aren't real. But we have to think critically. A giant reptile person, or a giant reptile having to stand on two legs, have no tail, and look basically like a person is a little unrealistic. And obviously the whole like government conspiracy thing, and lizards even having the potential to be smart enough to like be on par with humans, because they're like missing entire parts of their brain to even become like intelligent. Like I think that we have like a 3-layered brain or something like that, like a human brain, monkey brain, lizard brain. They just have the lizard brain. So reptilians are let's see, but I want them to put them here really badly, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely. Here we go. Here's another Squatch-like. I'm gonna put the Squatch-likes all together right now. We're gonna do a Squatch. We're gonna do a Squatch off. We've got the skunk ape. This is just Sasquatch, but he stinks and lives in Florida. I like the extra details. That makes him slightly more realistic, I think. Yeah, I think 'cause large creatures like bears and stuff, they have a history of stinking, so maybe he's a bit more realistic than Bigfoot. Bat Squatch. See, I'm seeing 6 limbs here, which makes me want to put him down here. And it's obviously a bat that takes like a man-like shape. I mean, if you like, nah, he's going there. Sheep Squatch. I think this is like a predatory like sheep man thing. It's got no hooves no more. It's got fingies. I don't know. It's probably a tie between. No, he's going right there. Yeah. Wyvern. So wyverns are dragons, right? Without the 4-limb thing, not without the extra limb. Sorry, they don't have the extra limb. They have 4 limbs, and I've seen tons of really convincing speculative biology projects where they're like saying, "Hey, maybe we can make dragons biologically feasible." Fire breath in both these cases. Obviously, this guy's down at the bottom. He's not moving up from there, but fire breath moves him from a reasonable, because I've seen some pretty convincing stuff, to maybe an unlikely. So with fire breath he's reasonable. But with fire breath he's reasonable. Without fire breath he's reasonable, sorry. And with it he's unlikely, I'm feeling. What was that project actually? Because it was a really good one. What's it called? Okay. So, just look at this guy. His name is Vikas Rao. He made a speculative biology project called Draconology. That gives me some. Pretty, convincing depictions of how maybe a wyvern is biologically viable. And even I think includes a good example of how fire breath could exist. So I'm feeling reasonable right now. Now, unlike the Cockatrice, which is like here or here, he's here or here. So yeah, it's gonna be that order, I think. Good old Wendigo. This depiction is kind of bad. I think the deer skull man. I'm pretty sure it's more like a vampire, like ghoul type thing in native myth. So we're gonna go with that one. vampire ghoul kind of situation. Wendigos are obviously like cannibalistic, but turning into a cannibal ain't gonna make you look like a vampire, so probably unlikely. Because cannibals, you know, they're real. But there's no. Well, actually, no. That's magic. That's magic. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling that. Zombies. Sorry, guys, but zombies are real. Let's give you some examples. Cordyceps with ants. There's this weird barnacle that like changes the sex of crabs and then makes them into like some weird. They pilot them around and like use them as some sort of weird breeding facility. There are wasp larvae that burrow into snails' eyes and then control the snails with their weird pulsating weird things. What else? Whatever, I can't find anything else. But obviously I gave like 3 examples to just deal with it. Zombies are real. In the parasitic sense. I don't think a virus or a bacteria can make you do that. So if it's a parasite, yeah, zombies are real. Skeletons. Skeletons are inside of you. Big shocker. Don't freak out, man. They're inside of you, though. But they're real. I included Frankenstein because he is the flip side of zombies, where it's more just like a corpse that is alive now, for some reason. He was brought back with electricity. There is some historical precedent for why people might think that this might happen. I'm pretty sure that the artist, I think her name's Mary Shelley, I think? Not the artist, the writer, Mary Shelley, like, saw a science experiment by, some Galvani guy, right, where he put electrical currents inside of a corpse and it started moving, so, you can't really reanimate a body with electricity. You can just make it move. So he's gonna be probably the most realistic out of all of it. Even though it's still in the impossible thing. Don't like quote me as saying that Frankenstein could exist. Giant Home Depot skeleton. This is basically just skeletons of people that are really tall. And people who are really tall have existed. There is an upper limit, though. Pretty sure... hold on, let me go back to... Who's the tallest person alive? Who's the tallest person that ever lived? The tallest person ever was 8 feet and 11 inches. And he died at 22, so... There's obviously a correlation between being big and, like, health problems. I'm pretty sure he, like, had heart issues, and I'm pretty sure, on average, taller people have, like, bone issues. So... if this is like an 8'11" skeleton, yeah, but I'm pretty sure most of the Home Depot skeletons are like 15 feet tall, maybe like 11 feet tall. So it's going in reasonable up to a certain point. The Hoag. Hoag is like some weird Wisconsin cryptid that was born out of like ox ashes. So that's magic. And just because I don't like how it looks, it's like stupid and purple. It's going in the back of Impossible. Vampires. Can you survive on blood? Now, I'm not too well versed in this. And obviously I was like, this doesn't seem very realistic. For the probably week he lives, yeah, vampires are real. He might die a week later from starvation. Let's reorganize some things. He's the top of unlikely. He is the most real out of all these. He is more, I'd say more real, because we at least haven't seen these guys. Well, even then, zombies are more real. Oh, geez. And then, oh boy. Okay, these exist currently. These go right here because I don't like the time period. He's here. And he's here. Okay, that's fair. Giant animals, yep. Jackalope, yep. Giant skeleton goes above. Dracula, the Bloop. Lizard people. Oh, but I really like him up here. Nah, he's gonna stay there. Frankenstein. Okay. I like that list. Sorry, I'm burping in the mic a lot. Sorry, guys. Whoops. Sorry. Whoops. Sorry. Whoops. Werewolf. So clinical lycanthropy is a thing where you look like you've got covered in hair, and there are those, like really lame werewolves that kind of just look like the live action Grinch. So if you kind of look like the live action Grinch and you've got lycanthropy, yeah, you could look like a werewolf. So that's kind of there, right? But the more magical, like just actually like transforming into like a wolf on two legs, kind of knocks it down for me. That's probably gonna be the new bottom of unlikely. Which you can turn green from stress, I heard, and if you just like start mixing up like meth in like a bunch of bottles and stuff, are you really not a witch? That's the question, man. Witch is gonna go unreasonable because if you're just like a green person who starts like mixing up like like ammonia and bleach in your bathroom for some reason, you are a witch. That might even surpass reasonable because there's probably at least one person in history that was green and was like making like weird like poisons in their bathroom or something like that. So that's gonna go unreasonable. And then flying rods. This is like conspiracies about like an aerial ecosystem. Well, hold on, back it up. Flying rods are this weird photographic like artifact where when you're taking a picture and a bug flies through the picture, it like elongates, and the wings kind of like show this weird like wavy pattern. So there's been theories about like, are these aliens, are these things, are these like some weird like secret upper atmosphere ecosystem. An upper atmosphere ecosystem is a little unbelievable to me, but it's not like something insane like a fucking like a moth person. So I don't know, because almost every flying thing has to come down to the ground for some reason. So the possibility of like an entire aerial ecosystem is a little strange to me. That's probably gonna go right between Sasquatch and Mothman. I think that's it might not be the final one. Skeletons. I mean, I got a skeleton right next to me right now. Or not right next to me, but right in me. There are Kraken swimming around the water. There are little ants being turned into zombies. There were dinosaurs. There were plesiosaurs. I mean, it's almost 100% likely there are aliens. And yeah, maybe once in a while there was some weird, like, mutt out in Mexico with mange. I'm feeling like I like this. Yes, there's probably some weird meth head under crazy stress that turned green and was making weird, like, stuff. Yeah, some giant dude has a skeleton in his body. Yeah, animals can get bigger than usual. Yeah, there's some historical precedent for like small burrowing animals to have horns. Yes, there was fossil evidence of something having a similar body plan, and yes, I've seen some convincing stuff. Yes, I like this, and yes, I like this. Okay. Is my mouse not on? Oh my gosh, my mouse isn't on. That's not very clear to you guys. Either way, I just went over the first two rows and how I feel about them. The bottom rows I kind of just wrote off because it gets a little less clear. Anyway, thank you for watching.